good to see you here at the Milken conference. I know you've got panels and you're talking a lot about foreign affairs here. Let's start with China, our #1 adversary. What points are you going to be making at this conference about China? What should our audience understand?
Well, I think the long-term threat they pose to our national security, they want to dominate both economically and militarily. And as we look at what Putin is doing in Ukraine, she is looking at Taiwan. And the unholy alliance, we saw them broker together at the Beijing Olympics with Mr. Putin and Chairman Xi standing side by side with a compact against the West and against NATO. So we're very concerned about Taiwan being the next shoe to drop. I've signed off on foreign military weapon sales to Taiwan. They've been held up, though, for about 2 years. And we're employing our State Department to get these weapons in.
Do you think that they will invade Taiwan near term, this year, next year?
I think their timeline is as long as Biden is in office. I think, as Putin has always wanted to invade Ukraine, they saw weakness after Afghanistan when Biden waived the mandatory sanctions on Nord Stream 2, allowing Putin to complete his pipeline into Europe. They saw weakness, and then they started bringing their troops in. So she is seeing a weak president as well, but they're very clever. They're far more clever than Putin. I can see them also using deception and economically as a weapon.
Let me focus first on the economic threat, because it seems over and over again we are so reliant on products that are so important to this country that are made in China. I mean, during COVID, we saw that 90% of the underlying components of our prescription drugs are made in China. That has still not been corrected. You are out with legislation about chips. Let's talk about semiconductor chips and how we are going to move the needle in terms of getting those factories in America so that we don't have to rely on foreign actors.
That's right. And I think COVID opened our eyes. And my God, we're so dependent on China for critical supply chains like medical, rare earth minerals. They control about 85% of the global market. And then when you get to advanced semiconductor chips, we have to start manufacturing that more in the United States and not overseas or even close to China. Like Taiwan manufactures 90% of the advanced semiconductors. So our bill, basically an idea brought to me by former Secretary Mike Pompeo, National Security Advisor O'Brien, and Wilbur Ross, to incentivize more manufacturing in the United States through tax incentives, through a grant program. And already you've seen Samsung in my home state, about a $20 billion investment. Intel about another $20 billion.
Right.
And Micron's looking at, and they do a lot of the DoD advanced weapon systems chips. There'll be about a $100 billion investment in the United States. They'll bring jobs, manufacturing here, and also protect our national security.
I mean, it brings me right to the question of the border. And I know you just got back from the southern border again, and you've been there many times. What we showed this weekend was border agents apprehending 3 Chinese individuals. They spoke Mandarin only, and they were trafficking narcotics. What is going on? I know that the CCP wants to overtake the United States as the #1 superpower, but is this part of it? I mean, you've got COVID, you've got fentanyl. Can't we stop this?
Well, we can, and when we were, the previous administration I worked with on the migrant protection protocols that this administration rescinded, remain in Mexico is working, and we need to go back to that. In fact, I hope the Supreme Court will affirm the Fifth Circuit's ruling saying you have to reinstate this. But with respect to China, what a great foreign policy for them. They can export the precursors to make fentanyls in Mexico, then they're brought into the United States, killing so many of our young people. We've apprehended enough fentanyl to kill the entire population 7 times over. It's like the opium wars reversed, right? So China is putting this opium war right in our backyard on our southern border.
But, Senator, I don't think I've heard President Biden mention the word fentanyl once.
No. They don't want to talk about the border. And, if they lift Title 42, you're going to have 500,000 people in 5 weeks. Maria, my home state of Texas, we just can't absorb this anymore.
When you look at the homeland today, Homeland Security Committee, Foreign Affairs Committee, what are the most important threats that we need to understand?
The threats are foreign nation adversary states. Every day I wake up, what is China doing? What is Russia doing? Well, we see them in Ukraine now, expanding. What is Iran doing? This administration wanting to cut a deal with Iran and using the Russians to help negotiate this is absolute insanity. And then Kim Jong-un firing off 2 ICBM rockets. And the Chinese have already filed a hypersonic weapon that circled the globe, landed with precision. They can attach a nuclear warhead to that. We don't have that capability in the United States. And here's the kicker to me, is that hypersonic was built on the backbone of American technology. Whatever we gave them, they took, they steal it, and we sell it to them. We have to stop selling them our technology that then goes into the military-civil fusion and actually builds weapon systems that they will turn against us.
On Iran, will the U.S. get back into that deal, or is this administration going around Congress so that they can just jam this through?
Yes. I've had the briefings. They don't want to talk to us. I think they're going to violate the law by not giving the agreement to us in advance or having a vote by Congress. And you will see, a lot of loud voices. I will have a resolution of disapproval in the House. Right now, I think the deal is being discussed about whether to waive foreign terrorist designation on the IRGC. This was General Soleimani's killing machine, the IRGC. If we do this, lift sanctions, give them billions of dollars to throw into terrorism in the Middle East, it'll be one of the most dangerous things. And the entire Middle East is going to want their own nuclear bomb.
Yeah, that's a good point.